Ninju says, I'm pretty bullish on Bitcoin, but it's good to know if there are any scenarios where Bitcoin isn't more a good investment, which is news for you that will make a no deal. In terms of like, what am I worried about in Bitcoin? Is there any bad news for Bitcoin? There's really not. And that's the crazy thing about Bitcoin, is that there's really no bad news for Bitcoin. If you have a full understanding of Bitcoin and you run through every single scenario of what could happen, there are some things. They're a little bit more out of our control, though, I think, in terms of Bitcoin. But for the most part, anything that happens, any news, is always good for Bitcoin. And everything will continue to fall in price compared to Bitcoin because it's the only asset on Earth that's scarce and has a fixed supply. That's the key there. So you could do whatever you want to it. And if you understand how the Bitcoin network proof of work consensus works, as they were talking about on Rabbit Hole Recap yesterday, there's really no way for bad actors to overtake Bitcoin. It's different from proof of stake, where if you had 30% of Ethereum staked, then you have 30% of the votes on how that, and that's why the Ethereum protocol has changed so much, because they have the ability to influence, like a small group of people within Ethereum have the ability to vote and influence the changes on there. Whereas with Bitcoin, it's basically whoever's running a node, that's who gets to vote. It has nothing to do with Bitcoin ownership. So I think people with a narrow understanding of Bitcoin think about all the things that can go wrong in it. But to me, always be bullish. There's no bad news for Bitcoin. Everything is good for Bitcoin.